TIFU by making my grandma think heaven isn't real. Today, I fucked up by shaking my grandmother's faith in God and destroying her concept of heaven. First, the obligatory "this didn't happen today" as this happened during Thanksgiving dinner, which isn't better. My wife's grandma is an incredibly sweet Italian woman that has always been the heart of our family. She's deeply religious, but in a way that her kindness and generosity are genuine. Lately, she's had some health problems, but she still manages to light up whatever room she finds herself in. This year's Thanksgiving was at our parents' house, so I took an edible in the morning to help deal with all of that, and as family started piling in, my cousins and I decided to go for a walk before dinner was served. When it was finally time to eat, I got to sit by my grandma, which was awesome. We sat enjoying our meal, made all the more delicious by the walk, and my grandma says, "Oh, I just love that Stouffer's stovetop stuffing," to which I said, "Oh, fun fact, it was never actually called Stouffer's stovetop stuffing, just stovetop stuffing. That's just the Mandela effect." My grandma looked at me and said, "The what?" And I spent the next several minutes explaining the Mandela effect and that sometimes people remember things so vividly that they even remember things like commercials that never existed. My grandma is fascinated by this and asks what causes it, and at this point, I am extremely high.
I say something along the lines of, well, some people think that there are memories from alternate realities and try to explain the many worlds theory and how maybe our memories and time move along the fourth dimension between our three-dimensional universes, and that maybe she remembers Stouffer's stovetop stuffing because it was real in her past, but not our present. At this point, my wife is looking at me like, "You are way too high, what are you doing?" But my grandma is enthralled. I clumsily explain the Schrodinger's cat experiment to her and she is eating it up and finally just says, "I don't know what to believe anymore. I need a moment." For the rest of the day, she just kind of sat by herself pondering her mortality and eternity, and now she won't go to church anymore, and when my uncle offered to take her she just shrugged and said, "Why bother? It's just more of the same." I think I broke her.
TLDR, got too high at Thanksgiving and destroyed my grandma's faith in God. The Mandela effect is more like an example of just how shitty and easily influenced human memory can be, which is interesting enough in itself. You chose to go the batshit alternate reality route on your own.
Your grandma seems amazingly sweet. It's amazing that she even listened to you and was interested by what you said in the first place. Even if her beliefs are shattered, I hope she is okay.
Now it's time to get Grandma high and continue this talk. I've just spent the last 3 hours going down the rabbit hole on Stouffer's. I was 100% certain it was Stouffer's. I remember the damn ad. It said something like, "If it's not Stouffer's, it's not stovetop. WTF. Is she your grandma or your wife's? And, our parents' house? Is it just me, or does this make no sense at all?"
They didn't clap?
Dollars to donuts. Grandma is eventually and probably sooner than later going to return to her faith in her God. Many Christians throughout the ages have questioned, rebelled and outright abandoned all they believed at one point only to return, including those that were sanctified. I got up while reading this and walked downstairs to the kitchen pantry to confirm. It does not say Stouffer's. It just says stovetop stuffing. 3 contributing factors to the confusion in my opinion. 1. The boxes for Stouffer's frozen dinners and the box for stovetop stuffing are similar. 2. The stuffing itself reminds me of the stuffing you get in a Stouffer's frozen dinner. And 3. I've never looked all that closely at the stuffing box before now. Well, this is probably good and bad. Now go back and explain the most likely and non-crazy reason for the Mandela effect lol. Honestly, based on the way she reacted in your write-up, it seemed like a great conversation for her. It's great to be able to look at things you believe in and re-up your stance based on your new experiences and thoughts. The Mandela effect is not multi-dimensional memories. That us nonsense even if we believe in the more outlandish interpretations of quantum mechanics. But you might have just freed your grandma from a lot more nonsense. If your stoned rant destroyed her faith, it was never solid to begin with. Feeling this as a comedy bit considering op. I wonder if she'll have a more bad crisis when discover that free will is an illusion. First you talk about your wife's grandma. Then you talk about our grandma, and in the end it is your own grandma. I am confused. Who is who and who is the story now about?
Not buying it.
I think Grandma will return to her beliefs. Especially with Christmas coming. She was probably not feeling well and a little upset with all that you said. Heaven is hope, and at her age it's unlikely she will let that go. Try to be sober on Christmas or don't talk to her. Find some uncle to rant with. I am not against whatever anyone does recreationally, but if you start blaming parts of your life or choices on being influenced by drugs or alcohol, you might have a bit of a problem. My only thought is that way too many people now seem to use weed being legal as an excuse to drug themselves based on any stupid excuse and think it's okay. But honestly, you need to take a strong dose edibles to deal with Thanksgiving despite supposedly liking your family. This is like the poster child excuse conservatives give for their drugs being bad argument. If someone reading this thinks I am being too serious, just think if you'd consider it an okay choice by someone of age old enough to be married and hosting Thanksgiving, to choose to get high on their own Thanksgiving dinner.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicuricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.